Hello, everyone. Susan Gerbic from Psychics Explained. Thank you for joining me today for a new video. Well, it's actually an old video. It's a new video to this channel, but it's a video that I recorded in 2013 with Mark Edward, my partner. And for those of you who aren't aware, Mark Edward was a mentalist. He was the best, most amazing mentalist ever, in my opinion. And he was also working as a psychic, as well as being someone who was on the board of Skeptic Magazine. And since I knew him in 2009 and onwards, we've always worked together as trying to educate the public about the world of the psychic mediums and what's going on. And he was an expert on that because he worked in the field for a long time. And I'm releasing different videos that we made. Now, with Mark, he was a performance artist. He actually had a degree from Cal Arts in performance art. Yes, that is a thing. And though we lived many miles away from each other, 300 miles, we'd see each other maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. And when we'd get together, sometimes what we would do with these psychic related paranormal things. So I have a lot of videos that I'm releasing to you here on Psychics Explained so you guys can enjoy and learn about Mark Edward and the world that I was in for a very long time. And he died in August of 2024. So I'm recording this in February of 2025. I always have to look at the calendar. I don't know what's wrong with me. Don't ask me what today's date is. I really don't know if I would know, but it is February. So anyway, I'm going to give you a little intro about Mark and what this video is you're going to see. And then after the video, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that you may or may not have noticed. So Mark Edward was a mentalist, which is a form of magic that where they do things that a magician would do, like sleight of hand and just magic stuff. He could do that, but he didn't find it as interesting because he's a storyteller. And so with mentalism, it's kind of a side of bizarre magic. And it is, at least in the form that Mark did with Séance, that was his niche. And he was one of these people who did the Houdini Séance. And that was his world, the Victorian Séance. And I have all the props still here and they're scattered around my house. Quite interesting. So what had happened is that Mark had come to my house. The video you're going to see was filmed in my dining room. And it is just after Sylvia Browne died. Now, Sylvia Browne was a horrible human being. And I see no redeeming characteristics, nothing good about her. And she was a person that back in 2009, when I met Mark, she was like on her way down as far as the world had been revealing her tricks. She didn't foresee things like YouTube and transcripts and the ability to be able to do the things we can do now. She had no idea, obviously, because she's not psychic. But Sylvia was undone with repeated debunkings of things that she had gotten wrong and what a horrible human being she was. And Montel Williams as well is on that list in my book, as well as Larry King, who enabled her as well as Montel Williams did, and the TV shows that allowed her on and so on. It just, without their enabling, she would have been nothing. I mean, she was a joke. She really was. I'm sorry if you believed in Sylvia Browne, but when you take a long, hard look at what she did, she was dangerous and she was horrible human. Anyway, so Sylvia was on her way out. And one of the ways we knew she was on her way out and her star was diminishing was because after Montel's show was canceled, he had a long run on daytime TV. After the show was canceled, Montel and her started selling blenders and things like that on a channel that was kind of like a QVC, I think, like a shopping channel, like a giant channel just for shopping. And so that was just one of those ways of seeing they're on their ways out. So I mean, it's only a matter of time before we're going to see Tyler Henry having a little like a promo for Colgate toothpaste or something. Oh, and this video is brought to you by Colgate. I think anyway, what a thought. So Sylvia, what you're going to see in this video is a slight to Sylvia Browne. She's just died. Mark Edward was in one of his moods, and he said, let's make a video for a seance for Sylvia Browne, as ridiculous as we possibly can make it. All the items you'll see in this are objects around the house here now. He brought these up to my house whenever we did this. And it was 2013. I didn't know how to video edit, and the tools that we have now, we didn't have back then. So it's me with a little camera on a tripod, and the lights are turned down, and the music that's playing is playing in another room because we didn't know how to overlay music to a video. I mean, we're just goofing around, but I think it shows the ridiculousness of the psychic world in a humorous way. We had no problem belittling Sylvia Browne, and that's fine with me even today, 11 years later. So I'm going to be releasing some more of these videos of different kinds of things that I did with Mark Edward over the years, and with James Randi and others. I have a lot of videos, and you can find them mostly on my channel, Susan Gerbic, but I am re-releasing them to the Psychics Explained video with a little commentary, and so that you guys can get to know what it was like. I think that's all the intro I need to do. Let me show you this video. After the video is over, I'll tell you some of the things you may have missed. Maybe I'll tell you. You might have to see the video more than once to see some of the odd things that are happening in it. But I will give you a little update on what's going on with me right now as far as this channel and what I'm doing in research for psychics. I can give you some information, and maybe it'll whet your appetite. I don't know. So I'll like and share. Please subscribe, hit the little bell. I'm trying to grow this channel, and so that we can educate more people about what's going on in the world of mediumship. So I'll see you on the other side of this video.
Good evening. My name is Mark Edward. Those of you who knew about Sylvia Browne probably knew that she never got anything right. Her score for predictions was 0, nothing, nada. That being said, it's not likely that she will grace us with her appearance for a seance. But I thought tonight, given the circumstances of her life, I would attempt to bring her back. That is, summon a demon. For the crucible for our experiment, I'm going to use a blender. This is a blender made famous by Sylvia and Montel Williams. It was called the Health Master. Tonight we'll refer to it as the Death Master. This is it right here. Yes, she tried many things. In fact, I have a small bit of a seance that she tried with a Ouija board when she was a child. It didn't go very well. Now, with any sort of invocation, it's always best to have protection. When you have intercourse of any kind, especially with demons, it is very important that you protect yourself from outside forces. And I wouldn't want any of you watching this to go home with any unsounds or have bad dreams later on. So I'm going to read this small sigil. This is from the 7th book of Solomon. Very interesting hieroglyphics that I will now read. Spirits, protect us tonight. Using the Amun-Ra system, I can't really read this. Let me get a little closer to the light. Using the Amun-Ra system, we will, oh, jeez. Oh well. Anyway, I guess we'll go ahead anyway. I don't know what will happen, but I'm going to also try and get a message using spirit slates. These are spirit slates used by mediums in seances. I'm going to number the sides to make sure each one is absolutely blank. This will be side number 1. This will be side number 2. That leaves side number 3 right here, and finally side number 4. In between the slates, a small piece of chalk for the spirits to write with. So tonight I have gone to great expense to get the right proportions and potions for this experiment. I did a lot of research, and I've purchased some things on eBay that will prove, hopefully, very powerful. First and foremost, this was very hard to get. I won't even say how I got it or where it's been all these years, but to start off, about 1.5 cups of mother's milk from Joan Crawford. Then I have, also very important in the work that I do, grave dirt. You may have heard of this. This is the real stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I got this from a friend of mine who works in the cemetery digging graves when he's not going to AA meetings. So here's to you, Johnny, wherever you are. A little more, why not? Then I also have a few other things. I have, this was very hard to get. This is a fingernail from James Van Prague's index finger. Hell only knows where that's been. I could not get any actual tongue of dog, so tonight we're going to use a few small bits of rancid bacon. And then, of course, what would a potion be without a few drops of tincture of belladonna? Just a bit, a wee bit. And then what else have I? Oh yes, I have some crushed snake's fangs. Few of these, never hurts. And to round out the recipe, oh yes, what would a recipe be without some rat's blood? Here's to you, Sylvia. And finally, 2 last small bits. I could not get any wool of bat, so we're going to have to settle for a few pieces of lint from Charles Manson's prison shorts. And then just for good measure, poison ivy, dried poison ivy. You know, we forgot to get cigarette butts, but what the heck, I don't smoke, so we'll have to do with what we've got. So I am now going to try and propose an incantation to Sylvia wherever she may be. So here we go. Sylvia Browne, we would like to reach out to you tonight. Will you give us a sign, a physical sign that you are with us tonight? Will you cross the ethereal path and speak to us? Speak to us, Sylvia. We're waiting. Speak to us, Sylvia. We're waiting. Nothing. I'm a little disappointed. I certainly expected something to happen. Oh, jeez. was that? Sylvia, are you with us tonight? Sylvia, give us 1 grind for yes, 2 for no. Are you with us? She seems to be there. Sylvia, this is amazing. Sylvia, can you maybe give us some sort... This is amazing. I can't believe it. This blender isn't even plugged in, ladies and gentlemen. Sylvia, again, you are there, yes? She is there. Sylvia, since you're there, I want to ask some questions about what it's like on the other side. So Sylvia, maybe you could just give us a few ideas about what's going on there. Maybe an EVP or something, because it's kind of hard to understand what you're saying. Sylvia, go ahead, speak to us. Give us some of your messages from the other side. What is it like on the other side, Sylvia? Can you tell us? Yes? Is that a letter? Is that a name with a starts with an M? It has an M in it. No, wait. Is it a J? I can't understand, Sylvia. I can't understand what you're saying. Sylvia, I don't understand. I can't figure it out. Sylvia. All right, Sylvia. That's enough, Sylvia. Stop, Sylvia. Go. Shut up, Sylvia. Go back. This is so embarrassing. Sylvia, please. Please go back. Oh, Sylvia, I know you're trying to say something. I can't stand it. Please, be gone. Be on. Ghostly spectre, ghoul or fiend, nevermore be thou convened. Shepherd's ward and holy rite, vanish thee into the night. She's calm. I can't say I'm unhappy that she's left. She's left us. It was made me very uneasy, took a lot out of me, and I don't know if there's a message or not on the slates. Let's see what we have. Here's the chalk. Side number 2, there's nothing on side number 2. Side number 4. Side number 3, doesn't look good. Side number 1. She's left us a message. Chris is a mama's boy. SS. Who's Chris?
Okay, that was fun, wasn't it? Isn't he charming, good-looking man? And I miss him so much. We had a lot of fun together. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that. There's things happening in that video you may or may not notice until you see it a second time. But that was all just one cut, just boom, we recorded it. So there's no finagling or anything going on with the slates or anything else. This is pure mentalism. This is what a seance looked like in Mark Edwards style seance. One of the things. And so those are real slates that he's using, and that's a real effect that's done with mentalism. And no, I'm not going to tell you how it's done. Don't ruin the illusion. It's much simpler than you think, but it's a skill. I mean, he was a very skilled mentalist, and it's a lot of fun being in that world and being able to watch him. So I play the part of the blender. Oh, he was something else. And Mark was known for details. And I mean, you can't tell in this video, but smell was very important to him. And I have so many smells here at this house that are in little bottles that are produced to make it smell like something. It's very interesting. I don't know how to explain it, but Mark was a very detailed kind of mentalist, which is another reason why he was such an amazing performer. The sound of things were very important. And he's ad-libbing most of this. He is not got a script. He's I think we recorded this in one go, and he is just making it up as he goes along, a lot of it. Some of the things that he has, all those little vials, I still have all that. I don't know if what's in him is what he said. You never know. But I do know that that is grave dirt, because he had a friend who was in AA, because Mark was in AA. And he had the guy worked at a graveyard. So Mark asked him if you would get him a little thing of grave dirt. And the guy says, sure. So it's here in my house, probably somewhere. So it is actual grave dirt that is in that he used. I know that. And the other stuff, no idea. So some of the people you may not have heard of before, Joan Crawford, James Van Praagh, you can look them all up. James Van Praagh was a psychic that was popular at that time, or kind of on his outs as well. He's still around. I think I have at least one video on my channel of James Van Praagh. The slates, as I said, it's a magic effect. Mark was very good with slates, and there's a lot of different ways to do slate work. I mean, there are specialists in the Mitchellism world who specialize in slates. If you can look it up, but I would just go with it and enjoy the effect for the beauty of it and his skill. There's a lot of other things happening in there. Just let it go and enjoy it for what it is. Chris, at the very end, that you may or may not picked up on, Chris is Sylvia Browne's son, who was taking over her psychic career or whatever. She was trying to groom him for many years to be a psychic medium. Everything I've ever heard is he's horrible. Well, he's a horrible psychic, and he's coming from the world of Sylvia Browne. And so Mark was taking a dig at him, calling him a mama's boy, which in my opinion, he probably is. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but seriously. So I think that's what I wanted to say about the video. About what's going on with me. And I have no idea when you're watching this video. As I said, I'm filming this in February 2025. I'm working on a sting called Operation Banana Cream Pie. It's not going to be a psychic probably you know of, or is it? And it is maybe by the time you're watching this, Operation Banana Cream Pie is out. I don't know. I am not psychic, and this psychic medium that I'm working on does not know, because they're not psychic. And it's an elaborate plan. I'm trying to be careful with what I say. And everything is timing related. So I can do stings. It's not that hard to do, or find them on who to do them on, but I can do them and release them on the channel, and you guys go, oh yeah, great. And the skeptic community goes, yeah, high five, Susan, great job. But it doesn't really go any further. So to have impact, I need to get into independent press to have a bigger impact on what I do. And that's difficult because, well, there's a lot going on in the world right now. And they are, there's a lot of competition for stories. So I have to find somebody who's like-minded. I don't want somebody who's going to do an article or a video or whatever on my stings and gives the psychic some sort of like, well, maybe it's true. Mark and I refuse to work with anybody like that. Which is partly why we were unable to get a lot of media press. We were approached by a lot of people, but as I said, we refused to allow anybody to in the video with the other side, because we feel, and I still feel, that the world of the paranormal has gotten too many passes, and there's too much harm in it. And allowing people to leave whatever work you've done with saying, well, maybe it is real. That I think that's a cop out, and we were here to educate and not to um, leave people that way. There's enough wonderment in the world without having to have the nonsense just like this. Anyway, so I'm working on a time sensitive thing, and it's not time sensitive. I got to get it done by a certain day, but once I start the sting, it has to proceed in a way that this happens to this, and this happens to this, and this happens to this, and all things have to fall in place. So I can't just like start it and then just sit around and wait. I mean, I might end up doing that because just the way things work. I'm sorry to be so vague. And I have to have independent press. So, and a lot of independent press wants to be there at the very beginning. And I think I have somebody that would be a good outlet. But that person, I've talked to them, is working on research right now of the work I've done. So I want them to have a full buy-in and be not buying like money. Obviously, I don't get any money out of this, but I want them to be really understand what's going on, because I can't be starting the sting with one independent reporter and then stopping and then bringing in another independent reporter if that first one gets distracted or loses interest or whatever. If that makes any sense at all, I don't know. And this, I can't say because I don't want to give any hints. I don't think psychic mediums watch my channel because, I mean, they just usually block me. I really doubt that they are aware of what I'm doing because they just don't seem to be that aware. I think they seem to just live in their little world and they don't understand that there's somebody like me out there. I mean, they know I'm out there because obviously they block me, but I don't think they really care enough to think that they're going to be the one that's caught next. Some of these psychics are just so in their world that they're just there manipulating people or trying to get bookings and trying to get the next gig and trying to hang on because there's more and more competition for them. So they're not thinking of people like me. Because why? I don't, people, there's always somebody who's going to believe them and be willing to throw them money. And they're making a lot of money now. So they're just squirreling away their money and can go live a life of retirement after it, once they're exposed. And even after they're exposed, you guys, my gosh, the people who still cling to them. And that just shows the desperation that people have. Once you've had a conversation with your loved one and you think you've had a conversation with your loved one, they've told you they're watching over you. They think that you've been forgiven for whatever it is, or whatever. Once you've had that conversation, it's almost impossible to get a person to understand that they did not have a conversation with their loved one. They were reading into it. The psychic was fooling them, or the psychic fooled themselves. And what they think happened didn't happen. Because if you are in grief and you're have bought into this world of mediumship and you really do think you've gotten a connection, then to have that thrown out is too painful. It's almost like losing your loved one again and going through the grief process and now adding on to it that you feel stupid for falling for it. And it's not a good feeling. And so a lot of people avoid that. So they're not going to look into it and see what happened. So, and that's just from my years of experience of working with a lot of people. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and leave me comments. I try to respond to the comments. I'm not going to tell you how some of the magic that you just saw was done. Just enjoy it, you guys. Just enjoy it. And I will try to release more videos from my world of working with Mark Edward over time as I find time to do that in between all the other research I'm doing right now. So take care, everyone, and see you in the next video.